In this video, we're talking about how you have a shot to win a free Steam Deck OLED. This is legit. Then we're going to talk about the latest leaks around Valve's new hardware and why I think it's going to come out this year. And finally, Gears of War is officially coming to the Steam Deck and I hope it runs well. How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about the Steam Deck. And I gotta be real, I'm having a little bit of a crisis. I didn't realize this until this morning, but I went through all of my black t-shirts. I know you guys probably think I wear the same shirt every day, but I found one or two black t-shirts I like, Buck Mason and Double RL, and I bought multiple of the same t-shirt so I can wear the things I like every day. And just, I've been so busy that I went through them all without realizing, and now it's laundry day. So I'm in a white t-shirt. You've probably never seen this on the channel. I think this is the only actual true white t-shirt I own. It's got a cool cat on it. It's got racing flags, but yeah, feeling a little weird. Anyway, let's get into the first news story here so I can stop thinking about this. There's new Valve hardware coming out. If you have not been caught up on this, there's a new VR headset called the Deckard. There's a console called the Fremont, and there's a new Steam controller, all in development. And because Valve has a few games out right now, like Dota 2 that gets updates constantly, CS2 that also gets updates constantly, and they've got Deadlock, which I'm not sure what's going on with that game. Let me know if you're still playing it. But the point of me bringing that up is they leave files in those games updates all the time. So people, every time the game gets an update, they data mine the update, they find hardware leaks, and also in the back end of Steam, they're uploading updates all the time because their hardware interfaces with Steam as well. And the one guy you want to follow for this stuff is, sadly, it's Bradley. He's the major leaker, and it's not really even a leak because this stuff is basically public information. They bake it into update files and on the back end of Steam, and at that point it becomes public. And there's a really interesting update they just pushed for their Deckard headset, which they're hard at work on, which allows it to stream Steam VR games over your Wi-Fi network from Linux PCs. And this is really interesting because up until now, I think the only way to stream VR games from Steam VR is on Windows. Like, I know with Oculus, it might work on Linux, but the main way to do it is on Windows 11. So there's clearly a reason they're baking it into Linux, right? Like, they want to make sure that if you have a Linux device like a Steam Deck or a Fremont console and you pair it with the Deckard VR headset, you'll be able to wirelessly stream your games directly to the headset and interact with your PC. Now, I don't think this is really meant for the Steam Deck, right? Because it's such weak hardware comparatively to something like a desktop PC or whatever the Fremont console is going to be, you know, whatever device is using this Aerith Plus chip that they have in development with AMD. So connecting all the dots here, like the crazy person that I am, it's really hard not to see that they're trying to make a Linux console, like a Steam Deck console or a Steam machine or whatever you want to call it, that can stream wirelessly to their other new hardware, the Deckard headset, and you'll be able to interact with it with these extra accessories, kind of like a PS5 and a PSVR 2 that people might actually buy. And when I was reading through Bradley's posts, I thought it was interesting that he pointed out that when you talk about the MetaQuest 3, which is a pretty damn good device, like I've played Metro Awakening, which was great. I played Batman Arkham Shadow and a few other games. I've had a great time with that headset. When you see reporting on that, the only people who get excited about it are tech journalists who probably got one for free because MetaQuest sends those out to anyone. Like, I probably could have got one if I asked for it, but I ended up paying for it anyway. But when you talk about the Deckard, you see a lot of consumer interest because people know the good reputation Valve has with VR hardware, right? Like, they're the people who really partnered up with HTC for the Vive. They made their own VR hardware with the Valve Index, which is still, as far as I know, the reigning champ of VR headsets. And this Deckard is going to take things to the next level because if all the leaks and rumors are to be believed, it's going to run a version of SteamOS and be a truly standalone headset that you will be able to connect to your PC and play PC-based VR games, but it is going to have its own chip, so it'll be able to run games, hopefully, through Steam off of the actual headset itself. And that's a really interesting value proposition because there are a lot of games that have VR modes, like you buy the actual game and then there's an extra VR mode that you can play through. So a lot of people will look at the library they already currently own on Steam and see a lot of VR games that they already potentially own and say, oh, if I buy this Deckard headset, I'll just be able to interact with my Steam library and I won't have to buy a whole new library of games on it like you do with the Oculus Quest or the PSVR. And then also because the main storefront for this VR headset is going to be Steam, I mean, you'll be able to collect a bunch of VR games much cheaper that you'll be able to take forward with you. So it really does become the best value proposition when it comes to VR headsets. I think VR is cool, but I'm just more interested in the actual Steam machine console, especially after building my own Steam machine. I am having so much fun using this as a TV living room PC. PC that runs like a actual console. Like SteamOS, seeing how it's going to run on a console style PC is just so incredible from top to bottom. It works how I'm assuming they wanted big picture mode to work without any Windows BS to go through or anything like that. I hope that this hardware does get announced soon because they have a lot of irons in the fire. They're obviously working on the Steam Deck 2. That's a no-brainer. They're working on the Fremont console. They're working on the Steam Controller 2. They're working on the Deckard headset with its own controllers, and they're working on Half-Life 3. I know I said in the last news video that this might show up at Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, but if you have that much stuff that you're going to release, like the plan is to release it, I know these things change all the time, I think they'd be crazy not to do their own showcase because it's literally a showcase of one more thing. So you come out, you announce the Deckard headset, you get people interested but not mega excited, then you announce the Steam Controller 2 and you're like, well, what if we had a device you could use the Steam Controller 2 with? And everyone thinks Steam Deck, but then they're like, bam, Steam Console. And then they're like, oh, but the Steam Deck is falling behind. We wanted to keep up with this new power of the Steam Console. So here's the Steam Deck 2. And they're like, but you have all these devices to play games on. Of course you need a game to play. Here's Half-Life 3. That would be the showcase to end all showcases. Like I talk about showcases a lot on PS Ready because Sony makes first party games. A Valve showcase where they announce all this stuff and then maybe tease Portal 3 or Left 4 Dead 3. Can you imagine what that would do to the gaming industry? I think the internet would just shut off. I talk about how this is my favorite channel that I have, how it's my baby and I protect it all the time. And of course, the biggest reason for that is because I love the Steam Deck. But the other reason is that it really does feel like we're at the beginning when it comes to Valve's future, man. Like this is crazy. SteamOS actually feels like a viable competitor to Windows as long as they can figure out the whole anti-cheat thing, which I'm sure they will eventually figure out. They've got a ton of new hardware on the horizon. They have single player first person shooter campaign based games on the horizon that aren't just live service stuff that you can buy hats for. It really does feel like the beginning of PC gaming and maybe the swan song of console gaming. Like Xbox is making a PC, Sony's releasing all their games on PC, everyone's releasing on PC. I'm sure at some point Nintendo will. I don't know. It's crazy how Valve just doesn't even have to try. They just wait out everyone else and they win continually. I'm excited for the future of hardware at Valve, which they have said at the beginning of this year is looking bright, and I fully believe them. But yeah, speaking of wanting a Steam Deck, let's move on to the second news story here, which is that if you have held out and not bought a Steam Deck, now is your chance to be rewarded for waiting and get one for free. So PC Games N and Games Radar are running giveaways right now for a Steam Deck OLED, which is awesome, and a new game that's launching in early access called Gods of Hystera. I looked this game up. It looks really cool. It's basically like if you mixed a survival game with Diablo, like an action RPG, but you're building a Lovecraftian train that runs on a monster. And it looks sweet. It's something I'll probably wait till it's out of early access to really dive into, but that's who they're partnering up with, the publisher of that game, for this giveaway. So all you have to do is just Google PC Games N Steam Deck OLED giveaway or Games Radar Steam Deck OLED giveaway. Type in your email. You get multiple entries for connecting different accounts. Do as many entries as you can. At the time of recording this video, there's 12 days left, so at least over a week by the time you see this video. I think you should just enter it even if you have a Steam Deck, or maybe sit it out so the people who don't have one can win one. You don't see a lot of Steam Deck giveaways these days. I remember during the Game Awards, they gave away a ton of different Steam Decks through the Twitch stream to the point where it basically crashed the chat for the stream because so many people were trying to win them. Past that, you don't see a lot of opportunities to win a free Steam Deck. This is really bringing me back to when I was recording videos on PS Ready, telling people how they could potentially win the lottery to even buy a PS5. So here's your chance to get one for free. I think it's definitely worth trying. I won't enter. I have enough Steam Decks. I hope you get one if you don't have one because, money's hard to come by right now. So when you have an opportunity to win something for free, just give away your data. It's probably worth it. But yeah, that brings me to the third news story here, which is Gears of War is officially coming to Steam. So Gears of War Ultimate Edition technically is available on PC. You can get it through the Xbox app. Like if you have Game Pass, you can just download it or you can buy it. It was a pretty solid remaster. That was the first time I ever played Gears of War. I played through it with my best friend on my Xbox One X back in the day, but it never came to Steam, and I always thought that was weird. But with Gears E-Day coming out, they need to give people a reason to be excited, so they figured now is a good time to release yet another remaster. So it's called Gears of War Reloaded. It's a $40 title, and if you're one of the people who own it on the PC app or on Xbox, you can get it upgraded for free, which is pretty cool. But because this is coming to Steam, you'll be able to play it on Steam Deck. Those Xbox apps don't work on Steam Deck, and I've tried this game on my ROG Ally X, and it was totally fine. fine. Like it ran at 1080p maxed out. It was a locked 60 FPS. So I don't think we'll have too much trouble playing this on the Steam Deck, mainly because it's not an Oblivion style thing where they remade the game from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5. It's a remaster of a remaster. So there's like upgraded textures, maybe some upgraded lighting. The point is, I think this game will run well on the Steam Deck. There have been rumors about a Gears trilogy coming out forever, like a decade at this point. And I think the reason they're starting with the first game is because Gears E-Day is a prequel that leads right into the first game. So you can play the first one, get to know the characters like Marcus and Dom, and then play their prequel story, which looks really cool. I hope they remastered the second and third game. My favorite Gears game is Gears 3. I had so much fun playing through that, and it still holds up as a truly next-gen feeling game to this day. Of course, this game's also coming to PS5 day and date, which is absolutely crazy, and it really does make me feel bad for hardcore Xbox fans who bought into an ecosystem to have a powerful console that can run a bunch of games in their digital library, and now Xbox is just becoming a third-party publisher. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to play through the first Gears of War on the Steam Deck. It does come along with the 8-player multiplayer, so hopefully the anti-cheat works out. Microsoft's multiplayer always seems to work well on the Steam Deck, so I don't think we're going to run into any issues there. But yeah, it's coming out this summer. It'll be fun to run through on the Steam Deck. I'm excited for their showcase this summer because, I mean, they announced Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and Gears Reloaded outside of it, so they must have some pretty damn good stuff to show. Sony's really lagging behind. I know this is a Steam channel, but Sony releases their games on Steam. They need to have a showcase or something with some first-party games because, man, Xbox is absolutely eating their lunch lately with all these great releases. And that brings me to the last news story here, which is a quick tip for Forza Horizon 5. So everyone talks about how great this game runs on the Steam Deck, and I'm sure you've been in this experience where you download it, you play it, and the stuttering turns you off from playing it anymore. I have discovered through Reddit a trick to turn off the stuttering in Forza Horizon 5, and weirdly, it's to limit your GPU. If you limit it to 1000 megahertz, it completely eliminates the stutter at medium preset, and it looks and runs amazing on the Steam Deck. They just added a ton of new content with the Forza Horizon Realms update, which is like letting you go through all the evolving world seasons whenever you want. They've added in all the different cars, and I just bought my favorite car, which is my car, the Dodge Viper. They have a 99, I have a 94. I got the color close enough, so here's my screenshot of it. This game is awesome. I absolutely love it. I can't wait for Forza Horizon 6, and if you've been looking for a great racing game to play on the Steam Deck, now you can actually play it without having the major stuttering issues that have plagued it ever since it came out. There you go. Don't say I never gave anything to you. I'm going to find out in the comments that everyone already knew this, and I'm not telling you anything new, but thanks for watching till the end of the video. As always, guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.